Hey, Tuck.
Manny?
What's up, dude?
Just getting ready for Wrestlemania,
Yeah.
and
What are
I thought
what are we
maybe
even what are we even going to call this podcast? Because we just here because here's the thing. So everybody that's watching this, everybody that's watching this right now, which we hope is at least like just like a handful of people, like our friends. We both know a lot of people. Um,
um
Tuck and I, we work together at Jazz 88, MPS Voices. We've been friends for a really long time, like going on 17 years now, known each other a really long time. And we're both like in our 40s, but we're both like big time pro wrestling fans. Like we just I got into pro wrestling like in my high school days, like which was right in the teeth of the Attitude Era. You're a couple of years older than me, and you were like at King of the Ring '96 when you were like a teenager. So it's like
Yep.
we're both like big time wrestling fans, and so in our downtime at work, when we go on like a lunch break or something like that, we like to talk shop about the world of professional wrestling, mainly WWE stuff, and we just have a lot of time doing that, a lot of fun time doing that. And so we just kind of figured, like, why don't we turn this into a podcast and just see where the hell it goes?
Yep.
Um, yeah, and here we are. So we're just kind of winging this as we go. But yeah, like, what are we gonna call this? That's the question.
You're gonna put the guy with like all the weird ideas on this one, Manny. Come on. Oh boy. What do
Or
we call it?
we could do something like let's think about like cheap pops.
Like
Do
like
you remember? Do you
so
remember
so wait,
back
so
in
like when they pop, like you're talking about like the crowd
the
pop.
crowd pops?
Okay,
Yeah,
yep,
yeah,
yep,
yeah.
crowd pop. Okay, yep, yep.
And it's a tie-in to like we're like we're both native Minnesotans. We both like we know like Minnesota and maybe like parts of Wisconsin are like the only people in the entire country that still cause soda pop. So it's just kind of maybe it's a nice little tie-in to like cheap pops. There you
There you
go.
go.
See, there he's breaking
What am
out
I
the
drinking?
is that what is that cherry? What is that?
It's Froze Stop. It's black cherry Froze Stop. They make a really good root beer too. So yeah, I
Okay.
mean, Manny, that I'm a soda holic. That's the one thing I do drink. People be like, with some of my opinions, might think I'm drinking more than just pop, but I am a soda caffeine addict, and you're gonna probably hear why in the next couple minutes as we talk a little bit about WrestleMania. But cheap pops, Manny, like okay, like yeah, I'm trying to think like pops. When I think of pops too, it's like you think of when a wrestler comes back to a promotion.
Yeah.
Like when Edge came back to WWE, and in that first initial, like you and I would say, that first pop, man, that's that first pop. So I like that. I mean, you and I have never really been called cheap unless I'm asking you to buy me lunch at Noodles. Um, but other than that, I like it. I like it. You got soda,
well,
you got the cheering. I dig that.
well, because I do you remember back during the Attitude Era when Mick Foley was kind of in his, I think he had retired. He had gone through his like big feud with Triple H in like early 2000, and like he retired because Triple H like retired him at No Way Out 2000 or whatever. It's like Cactus Jack, and Foley came back at WrestleMania 16 and did the one night only thing and was done. Not like that was it. And we all know Mick like came back and wrestled again after that and other promotions, but like that was supposed to be his retirement thing. Remember, he came back as like the WWF at the time commissioner, and so like he would come out and he would like hype up the crowd and he would just say something like, "Oh, this match is going to happen right here in Sacramento, California," and then the crowd would go crazy. And then you hear Jerry Lawler just go, "Huh, cheap pop. He's just going for a cheap
Yes.
pop." Yeah. So
Yes.
that's why it just kind of popped in my mind of pop. There you go, pun. Um, you know, just call it cheap pops. We're in Minnesota. We called soda pop here, and
You're
we're both
cheap.
we're both cheap. What the hell? Just roll with it. So we'll call this podcast is tentatively called Cheap Pops.
W-
Uh,
w- We've
for
worked
now,
in
we'll see.
radio too long. We can't afford much. So it's like,
Yeah.
hey, if we're called cheap, that's fine because then we know we're good with whatever money we do have, Manny Hill. So yeah, that's
Yes. Yeah. So that's it. We're gonna call this podcast Cheap Pops.
there we
Basically,
go.
what we're gonna do here is we're gonna talk wrestling. We're gonna have some fun. We're gonna talk about the everything that's going on in WWE right now, what we're liking, what we're not so liking. Make some predictions and speculation on what we think is going to happen. We had WrestleMania coming up this weekend, so we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're both Tuck and I are both like as I mentioned before, we're both in our 40s, so we remember stuff from way back in the day. We'll reminisce on some things. We won't say exactly how old we are, although I got a birthday coming up this Friday.
It's your birthday, man. That's
Yeah,
an
man.
inside joke. That's an inside joke. That's an inside. They won't get it. But
It is my birthday. I don't know if it's kind of a secret in the
for you
workplace
Minnesota
right now.
people, Manny is worse with his birthday than Burp Levin is. I mean, we teased him incessantly in our work meeting earlier this week. I mean, it was
it's it's only because I got on the work. I got on the staff meeting and I told everybody that I was taking Thursday and Friday off because Friday is my birthday.
I don't want to
And
tell people
then I
why I
then I
was
end up
taking
like
Monday
repeating
off.
it. Then I end up like repeating it or something, and then it just kind of became a running joke that then Sean McPherson, our fantastic coworker, was like, "Hey, Manny, is your birthday on Friday?" After I had mentioned it, so no inside joke, a lot of fun. Love our coworkers and everything, but yeah, fun stuff.
Nobody cares, Manny. They want to
I
hear
know.
about wrestling content. Let's do
Yes,
this.
yes. So we got WrestleMania 41 coming up this weekend in Vegas, 2 night event, of course. Biggest PLE as they call them now. I still tend to call them like pay-per-views now.
You too.
But
Yeah. We're old,
um,
remember?
yeah, I know. Yeah, we're very old. You can end up getting older on Friday. Whoops, I mentioned my birthday again. Whoops. Anyway, uh biggest, I mean, WrestleMania is their Super Bowl. Obviously, we all know that. It kind of goes without saying. A lot of matches as of right now. Where we got 13 matches on the card,
So when we
seven matches
record
night
this, yep,
one. Yeah,
yep.
and we'll see what happens on SmackDown on Friday if anything gets added. But so night one's gonna have 7 matches. Night two will have 6. Um, you want to just like roll through some of the. We want to roll through night one and just kind of make our predictions. We don't have to spend a lot of time on each of them, but
I think that's a good idea, Manny. Just like you were talking about the other day, we're having lunch. What did you and I do? We literally rolled down what we
roll
thought
through the
was going to
card.
happen.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll do that for everybody, and then we'll wrap it up with a little goofiness as we head into Saturday and Sunday.
let's do it. Okay, so we'll start out. First match of the entire event is for the World Tag Team Championships. It's War Raiders, Eric and Ivar against the New Day, Kofi and Xavier Woods, of course. New Day kind of going through their heel turn from a couple months back, and I think it's kind of been a success for them. You know, they were kind of the fans' favorites for a while, and then they turned on Big E a few months ago and kind of basically kicked him out of the group. And Big E, of course, unfortunately, hasn't been in action in a couple of years because of the neck injury, the spine injury he had. But yeah, so they kind of turned heel and turned on him, and I kind of like the heel run that New Day has been on. They seem to have a lot of momentum. I think they're gonna end up getting this and winning the tag team titles from the War Raiders. What do you think?
This is one of them, Manny, where I think you know that I'm probably gonna agree with you here because the you knew that when the New Day was on the face side, right?
Mm-hmm.
They were over already. And when
Yeah,
a good face, which they were as a face tag team, turns heel, as you're seeing already with John Cena, that heel turn is usually spectacular and fantastic. And these two guys do it wonderfully. I loved them on the face side, but as heels and at the tag team ranks right now, Manny, having a little bit of depth and oomph, and of course they provide that. Now, give a little bit of credit to the War Raiders, especially carrying the belts. They have the moxie, the look, the whole. When you think of
Mhm.
tag team wrestling, especially from the late '80s, early '90s, you see those guys, the gladiators, if you will, and they kind of have that it to them. So I do like them here, but again, seeing the big swing after kicking Big E out, I think this is where they harness some gold here and kind of get the crowd going a little bit because even though they're heels in today's wrestling, you see a lot of folks express their love for those heels, and I think you might hear a little pop when the New Day grabs some gold on Saturday.
So we're both on that train there. New Day getting the win over the War Raiders to get the World Tag Team Championships. All
Yeah.
right, second match is Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano, who I think we all know who El Grande Americano actually
It's
is. But
Vince.
yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm
No, it's
sorry.
it's pretty clear and obvious. It's Minnesota's own Chad Gable, and I think this is a hard one to predict for me, Tuck, because I do think that he's going to get unmasked, but I don't know if that still means that like Ray's going to win the match. I'm a little bit torn on this because Ray is such a Ray is an all time great. He's a Hall of Famer. Ray Ray doesn't need to win this match necessarily, but I wonder if he will win this match and Gable will get unmasked as a result of losing this match. I don't, there's no stipulation that he will be unmasked or anything like that, but I'm kind of leaning towards Ray winning this match and El Grande Americano being revealed to be Chad Gable, which we all obviously believe that he is.
The bit has been so much of a comic relief
It's
right
been great.
now.
It's been
You
so
know,
great.
there's
I
been
love it.
so many like twists and turns, and I hate to use the quotes, but serious, storylines where this has been so damn funny, and we all know who it is, right? I
Yeah,
mean, there
clear
are
and obvious.
people. You and I both know Manny Hill, and I know you have been to these before too, where where you have those people who are like, "Oh, there's no way." No, we all know who it is. Settle down, but I don't want this to go away yet.
You do kind of
I
wanted to
think
get
that
milked a little bit longer, right?
yeah, and
Yeah.
again, you folks out there that are gonna start watching are gonna realize that I have an affinity and have for years had an affinity towards heels. And I think that this is one where Chad Gable is, I'm sorry, El Grande Americano or whatever he's calling himself right now. Again, R.I.P. Del Wilkes, the old Patriot. He's probably rolling around up above right now, going, "Chad Gable's wearing the red, white, and blue mask. Why? Oh my gosh!" But it's so funny, Manny. I'm just gonna say like you said, I really agree with the fact that Ray doesn't really need the win to kind of, stay afloat. Everybody loves Ray. Who doesn't love Ray? But I think they want to keep this going. I think Gable wins this and we get annoyed for another couple more months this summer.
I,
Let's go El Grande Americano or whatever you're calling yourself, Minnesota boy under the mask. Let's rock and roll. You know what? I don't want them demasked, Manny. No, it's not happening this weekend. No.
there is that feeling with me of like, yeah, I do kind of want to see this get dragged on a little bit longer. You know what I mean? Not too much longer, but for maybe like maybe like gets dragged out to like Backlash or something, the next pay
Perfect.
per view after WrestleMania, something like that, for another run. Um, but then I also think like it is WrestleMania; it's the biggest stage of the year. what better time to unmask El Grande Americano than in the granddaddy of them all in professional wrestling, which is WrestleMania. So I'm a little bit torn on it. I can kind of see Gable still getting the win though in this match, just because, like we were talking about, Ray's legacy is cemented. It doesn't really matter if he wins or loses. It's not going to hurt everything that he's accomplished in his career or anything. It just doesn't really matter if he wins or loses the match. So Gable might end up winning the match, and you might be right. They might keep this going, keep milking this bit for another month or so. Um, we'll see. I'll say so. My prediction will be officially, I think El Grande wins the match, but I'll predict that he does get unmasked. And you're
Okay.
gonna say he's gonna carry on a little longer. Okay.
I hope it's one or the other because the comic relief will be there either way. It's either going to be in a big way at WrestleMania on the biggest stage. We're all going to react to it together. It's going to
Yep.
be a funny memory for all of us forever, or we're going to enjoy it till, like you said, Backlash, SummerSlam. Who knows? Either way, I'd be fine. I'd almost be happy like watching him lose his mask around the 4th of July. I mean, how embarrassing! I mean, that would be kind of funny too. So, I mean, let's see how the folks back in Gorilla figure this out, and let's just stay tuned and enjoy it.
All right. Third match of night one is Jade Cargill versus Naomi. I think Jade is going to win this match. I could see it being kind of a tightly contested type of thing where they'll drag it out for a while, and it'll look like Naomi has some control on this match, because I do I'm hesitant to think that this will be a squash type of deal. In theory, you might think like Jade's coming back, she's getting the revenge on Naomi. This is going to be a squash match of like 5 minutes, and Jade's just going to completely dominate. But I think they'll let this kind of be a more evenly matched up type of deal. I do think Jade will end up coming out on top, but this heel turn from Naomi, I think, has been really, really good and really compelling, because we're kind of seeing a side of her that I don't think she's ever like had as a character during her entire time, and she's kind of an OG. She's been around WWE for a while, going back a decade plus. So, yeah, I like the bit. I like the rivalry. I'm a big Jade Cargill fan. I think she's going to come away with the win, but I think it'll be a pretty well tightly contested match.
Boy, Manny, this is a tough one because I like both of these gals so much,
Yeah,
and I would be okay with either one of them winning. But with Jade being gone so long, and I know that sometimes plays into storylines, but again, enjoying it as a fan, that I'm going to. I love Naomi's character right now. She went from the glow Naomi, now all of a sudden she's kind of a deeper, kind of a almost I don't
kind of
just
crazy.
deeper. Crazy. I didn't want to
Little
say it,
little
Manny, but
little off a
yes,
rocker a little bit. That
a
character,
little
yeah, I like it.
crazy, and
Yeah,
I like it. So I kind of want to see this character launch in a win over Jade at WrestleMania. My goodness, would launch her to the moon, but I think we haven't seen enough of it yet, so she can still build this character. And I don't think she's going to lose in Jade's first match back. And gosh, Jade looks phenomenal for being off as long as she was. I mean, she looks like a Greek goddess that's ready to win a championship, to be honest. And she's fantastic. And wow, I just can't see Jade and kind of the force she's brought out, Manny. She's just shown strength. She's shown like she's a superhero. I mean, like we've said before, we would love to see her eventually play a superhero in one of the next, films that come out because she's that type. She has the look, she just has the want to be the best. And I think Manny Jade wins this, but you're really going to start to see the character of Naomi launch and continue to distance herself from Bianca Belair and the tag teams and the glow stuff. And we're really going to see, like you mentioned, a whole new character blossom, take off. And this is going to give her a whole nother push because she's almost, a different character. And we're going to see her, I think, go up the women's heel ranks, if you will, and very fast, even with a loss here at WrestleMania.
We're this is like perfect for the title of this podcast being Cheap Pops, because we're doing this on Zoom and we're on Zoom like basic right now, and so we're running out of time on this meeting. So
Oh,
let's
yeah,
let's fly through this real quick.
let's go.
Fly through these last couple matches of night one, and then we'll go into night two real quick here. Okay,
Yep.
speaking of night, the next match is LA Knight defending the US title against Jacob Fatu. I don't think we need to spend a lot of time on this. I think Jacob's going to win. I think a lot of people are anticipating this. There's so much momentum with him right now. LA Knight's great. Got the US title back from Shinsuke. I don't think LA Knight is somebody that needs to have a title
Nope.
necessarily right now to further enforce like his character and how awesome it is. I think Jacob Fatu, this is a huge moment for him, a guy that's going to get a big push and is going to be a superstar. I think he's got the entire like landscape of the world of wrestling in front of him. The sky's the limit for him. So I think he's going to win. I don't think it's going to be particularly close.
Oh, he gets gold. He needs gold right now. I mean, he's that good. He already passed up, when you look at the bloodline, the lineage of the bloodline, he's gone past Solo already. He's shown that he's got
Yeah.
that in the ring. His life is kind of straightened out, if you will, and that's just shown that in ring it's taken off. And I hope he keeps going because, he's a great heel that's beloved and it's fun to watch him. So yeah, I'm sticking with you, Manny. It's going to be Jacob and he's getting that gold.
Our next match is WWE Women's Championship. Tiffany Stratton defending against Charlotte Flair. My heart, Minnesota, all of that stuff is like I'm a huge Tiffany Stratton fan. I think she's awesome. I think there's probably a little room for growth on the mic a little bit, but I think she's young and I think she's got the potential to be super awesome going forward. I think that Charlotte's going to end up winning this because of just the journey back for her, coming back from the injury, stuff in her personal life going on. I think this is going to be, after being gone for well over a year, this is going to be kind of the moment that she comes back and wins gold. Um, if it were up to me, I would have Tiffany win this match and keep it going, keep this title reign going for her, because I think she has a lot of potential to be special. But this kind of feels like Charlotte's going to end up winning and claiming I don't know, I think this would be like a 14th or 15th world title for her, something like that. So I got Charlotte winning this.
I'm going to go on the other side of it.
Okay.
I don't want to pick against Legacy, Manny, but we got to look right now at Tiff and the fact that she is young, she is talented, she is shown in ring, she is a champion. And I think right now she's going to find a way to guard this belt. It might be something, and I hate to say that it'll be not a count out, but maybe a disqualification or something that carries this feud on a little while longer. Remember, there was some weird kind of off color comments to each other, and I don't think that the brass really enjoyed that stuff. And I think that maybe they thought about the fact that Charlotte might end up winning, but I think all that stuff might have gone by the wayside now, and they might just keep it on Tiff a little while longer, and then maybe saying, "All right, you're going to get, Charlotte, you're going to eventually win the belt, but no, it's not going to be here, and maybe at something else, the Royal Rumble, or something down the line, way down the line maybe." But I think she's eventually going to get there, but I don't think it's going to be here. I think Tiff is still Tiffy time. I think she's getting the big push and go Minnesota. Tiff, if you want to come on the podcast, we'll take you. No doubt. Tiffy time.
So I got Charlotte winning. You've got Tiff winning, or possibly like a no contest type of
Yep.
finish to keep the feud going. Okay,
Yep.
two more matches for night one. World heavyweight title match. Gunther defending against Jey Uso. I think main event is coming away with the gold here. This just the guy. I don't think they had him shockingly win the Royal Rumble like that. Um, to go to WrestleMania and lose. And I think Gunther's had a nice run as world heavyweight champion. He's been a great heel. I love his bit. I think he's been fantastic. I was at the Monday Night Raw a couple of weeks ago when Jay came down into the ring and everybody's yeeting, and then they put the camera on Gunther and he's like doing his own like little thing. It was great. He's a great heel, great troll. It's awesome. And he's great in the ring. I love the bit. But I do think that this is kind of a culminating moment for Jey Uso for all the hard work he's done with his brother and his family over the years. One of the greatest tag team champions ever. I think this is going to be a big moment for him in his moment, and I think he comes away with the title.
I think you're right, Manny. A legacy moment. This is going to be kind of cool, I think, because Jay is going to win this. The Raw where he came out and he was stone faced, no, in Minneapolis, stone faced,
Yeah,
didn't have any expression. He went in and said, "Do you have a mom? No, do you have?" And Gunther was taking it like, "What are you getting at, man?" But he was coming with some real stuff that
such a
kind
good
of needed
promo.
to be. Yeah, it was fantastic.
The
So
writing, all of that was just awesome. So good.
it set up the fact that he's not looking past anything. Yeah, yeet, don't worry. All you guys yeet for me, but I'm focused on something right now, and that's winning the World Heavyweight Championship. So I think, yeah, he's going to win this thing, but bigger and better things are for Gunther, as my son calls him, Grunter. And he's 10. He does it on purpose because he doesn't like him because he's a heel. I love it. But I think this is where Gunther goes up towards the big belt. He's going to go up towards the Roman Reignses and the Codys and he belongs up there. I mean, he's wonderful where he is right now. But I just think that Jay wins. And we're gonna get a Jay and Jimmy thing again for that belt. We talk
Hmm,
about family
okay.
legacy. He's gonna win this belt, and we've seen it in wrestling many times. The jealousy angles from family or friends, or even with Savage and Hogan, and the jealousy, and eventually the mega powers explode. And since they've gotten back together a little bit, I've had this kind of Brett and Owen feeling that that's setting something up. So a little foreshadowing for me. Jay wins, but I think at the end of this, we're going to see a couple of different turns out of this feud and maybe into another one.
Okay. All right, we got about 2 minutes. Let's go through the main event for night one really quickly here. It's one of the biggest matches of the year. Roman, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins. CM Punk will be managed by his best friend Paul Heyman. I have been saying for weeks, I think that Paul Heyman is going to turn, and I think that for a while before we knew what the Punk favor was, I thought that Paul Heyman was going to turn on Roman Reigns because I don't think Roman really needs him anymore at this point. Um, but now I'm thinking that we're going to get a huge twist in that Paul Heyman is going to turn on Punk as well, and he's going to walk out of WrestleMania aligned with Seth Rollins. So that's where I'm going. I think Seth Rollins is going to have a big weekend. We're running out of time here, and maybe we'll start a new recording with this here.
Oh,
But
yeah.
yeah, I got Seth winning this match, and I got Paul walking out aligned with Seth.
I don't know who wins this, and I'm going to say that straight up. I think Seth might win this, but I think Paul actually doesn't leave with any one of the three, and you
Mm,
see Brock Lesnar come back to make an appearance. He will make an appearance.
okay,
That's a big
okay.
guess, but I don't think because everybody's saying he's going to leave with Seth Rollins. It's becoming a point where I'm like everybody's saying it. Something else is going to happen big, and it's WrestleMania, man. Something crazy always happens.
Something
This
that
is
we
going to
least
blow up the
expect.
first day. It's blowing up the first day.
Okay, all right, okay.
Call me crazy. I said you guys are going to think I'm nuts. Call me crazy. We'll talk
All
about day
right,
two in a little bit.
okay. All right, we'll take a quick pause and we'll come back and talk about day two.